Imagine walking into a restaurant where you are asked to cook your own meal, or checking into a hotel where you are expected to clean your own room. Most businesses would never dream of asking customers to do their own work. Yet, millions of people happily do exactly that at IKEA. You drive to the store yourself, you walk through the entire showroom, you write down product numbers, you collect heavy boxes from the warehouse, you load them into your car, you take them home. And then, you spend the next 2 hours assembling the furniture yourself. At first glance, it sounds like a terrible customer service. So why has IKEA become the world's largest furniture retailer? The answer isn't that people enjoy building furniture. It's that IKEA redesigned something far more important than the furniture itself. It redesigned the entire journey from the factory to your living room. Today, IKEA welcomes hundreds of millions of visitors every year, operates hundreds of stores across dozens of countries, and generates tens of billions of dollars in annual revenue. But its success isn't built on better wood, or better screws, or even better looking furniture. Instead, it's built on a series of decisions that seem strange when viewed individually. Why are almost all IKEA stores located outside the city centers? Why do they make you walk through almost the entire store? Why are restaurants inside a furniture shop? Why do you have to assemble everything yourself? And why has a simple blue shopping bag become one of the most recognizable products IKEA has ever sold? Individually, these decisions seem unrelated. Together, they've created one of the smartest business systems ever designed. For decades, buying furniture followed the same pattern. A manufacturer would build the product, workers assembled it, a truck transported it, a warehouse stored it, a showroom displayed it. Staff loaded it into your vehicles or delivered it to your home. Every step required people. Every step added cost. The furniture wasn't expensive simply because of the wood. It was expensive because every pair of hands touching it had to be paid. IKEA looked at the journey differently. Instead of asking how can we make cheaper furniture, it asked a far more important question. Which part of this journey actually needs us? That single question changed the entire industry. The breakthrough came with the flat pack furniture. Rather than transporting fully assembled wardrobes, tables, and bookcases filled mostly with empty air, IKEA redesigned them to fit neatly inside flat boxes. The impact was enormous. More products could fit into every truck. Warehouses could store more inventory in the same space. Products were less likely to be damaged during transport. Handling became easier. Global shipping became significantly more efficient. The flat pack wasn't just smarter packaging. It completely changed the economics of furniture. But IKEA wasn't finished. Flat packs solved the logistics problem. They also created a much bigger opportunity. Because once furniture arrived inside a box, someone still had to put it together. At this point, IKEA had solved one problem. Flat pack furniture made transportation cheaper. But another question remained. Who was going to assemble it? For a traditional furniture retailer, the answer was obvious. The company. Workers assembled the furniture. Warehouse staff moved it. Salespeople helped customers choose it. Delivery teams transported it. Installation crews put it together. Every step required labor, and every hour of labor increased the final price. IKEA questioned that assumption. Instead of asking how can we assemble furniture more efficiently, it asked, does the company need to assemble it at all? That single decision transformed the economics of the business. Today, an IKEA customer doesn't just buy furniture. They become part of the supply chain. You choose the product, you write down its location, you collect the flat pack from the warehouse, you load it into your car, you take it home, and finally, you assemble it yourself. At first, it feels like IKEA is shifting work onto the customer. In reality, it's shifting cost out of the product. By removing assembly, delivery, and much of the in-store handling from the standard purchase, IKEA dramatically reduces labor costs. Those savings don't disappear. They help make the furniture more affordable. And that's the crucial difference. IKEA didn't ask customers to do work simply to save money. It redesigned the experience so customers accepted the work in exchange for lower prices. The customer gives a little more effort. The customer gets much better value. Both sides win. If you've ever been to IKEA, you've probably had the same experience. You walked in looking for one thing and somehow an hour later you were still inside. Not because you were lost, because IKEA wanted you to keep discovering. Unlike most furniture stores, IKEA isn't organized into simple aisles where you walk directly to the product you need. Instead, you're guided through fully furnished bedrooms, living rooms, kitchens, and home offices before you reach the warehouse. At first, it feels inefficient. But IKEA isn't trying to help you to buy a table, it's trying to help you to imagine a better home. That's why the showrooms don't display individual products. They display complete lifestyle, a small apartment, a family dining room, a child bedroom. Instead of asking, do I need the chair, you start asking, could my home look like this? The journey doesn't end there. Before you reach the checkout, you pass through the marketplace, filled with candles, store boxes, plants, kitchen tools, and home decor. These aren't expensive purchases. They are impulse purchases. You've already committed to buying furniture, so adding a few smaller items suddenly feel insignificant. Then comes another surprise. Right in the middle of the furniture store, there's a restaurant. At first glance, that seems completely unrelated. But it isn't. Hungry shoppers leave early. Comfortable shoppers stay longer. A simple meal, a coffee, or IKEA's famous Swedish meatballs turns a shopping trip into an outing. The longer families stay, the more products they discover. That's why every part of an IKEA store, from the showroom to the restaurant to the marketplace, is designed to achieve the same objective. Not to sell you one piece of furniture, but make you want to redesign your entire home. By now, IKEA's strategy seems surprisingly simple. Flat pack furniture, customer assembly, self-service warehouses, large showrooms, restaurants, affordable prices. So why hasn't every furniture company copied it? Because none of these decisions work on their own. They only work because each one strengthens the next. Flat pack furniture reduces transportation and storage costs. Those savings help lower prices. Lower prices attract more customers. More customers allow IKEA to manufacture at enormous scale, strengthening its purchasing power with the suppliers. Higher volumes reduce costs even better. The cycle repeats. But IKEA's most surprising advantage isn't found in its warehouse. It's found in human psychology. Researchers have identified what's now known as the IKEA effect. People consistently place a higher value on products they help create, even when the finished result isn't perfect. In other words, the effort itself changes how we perceive the product. That explains something remarkable. When you spend an hour assembling an IKEA bookshelf, you're not just saving IKEA labor costs, you're building a stronger emotional connection to the furniture sitting in your home. The product hasn't changed, your perception has. That's why competition struggles to copy IKEA. They can copy flat pack furniture, they can copy self-service warehouse, they can even copy Swedish meatballs. But copying individual ideas doesn't recreate the system. The real competitive advantage is in the flat pack, it's in the showroom, and it's even in the low prices. It's the way every decision reinforces every other decision. IKEA didn't build a better furniture store. It built a better system for getting furniture from a factory to your living room. At first glance, IKEA looks like a company that sells affordable furniture. But after looking beneath the surface, you will realize it sells something far more valuable. A carefully designed system. Most companies try to reduce prices by cutting quality. IKEA reduces prices by redesigning the journey. It questioned every step between the factory and the customer's home and asked a simple question. Does the company really need to do this? Sometimes the answer was yes, sometimes the answer was the customer. That mindset transformed an entire industry. And perhaps that's IKEA's biggest lesson. Great businesses don't become extraordinary businesses because they build better products. They become extraordinary because they redesign the system around those products. Most companies ask, how can we make a better chair? IKEA asked a different question. How can we completely rethink the journey from the factory to the living room? And that single question turned a small Swedish furniture retailer into one of the most influential businesses in the world. Thank you for watching this case study, and I'll see you in the next one.